Okay, a quick video, I hope, that will show you what I learned about the two different software packages. Remember that we were trying to compare PhotoScan, which is made by Agisoft, which is over here on the left, and Reality Capture, which is confusingly made by Capturing Reality. And this program here was the one that was super fast and produced aesthetically very appealing results, which seemed, quite promising. But the licensing was prohibitive. And here with PhotoScan, the licensing was not too bad, but the time was prohibitive. It could take days, it seemed, to run what this program could run within an hour or half an hour even sometimes. But after lots of exploration, after lots of experimentation, after reading many forums, I've discovered that actually there is no free lunch. This program here does its fast work by taking lots and lots of shortcuts and using downscaled images and then a lot of smoothing to produce what are graphically very appealing, but in fact are not point clouds that we necessarily want. And here, Agisoft produces an ugly image, I suppose. These are point clouds. Let me show you as we zoom in. These are just the points, but their points are a lot thicker, at least in the graphic presentation. I'm sure it would look better if it was thinner. But even so, I think you can see that this is much more appealing. This is some trees in our backyard on a sunny day. You can see the dappled sunlight. And these blue spots here show the cameras or the photos that were being used to reconstruct this image. Now, what I did was I flew a drone up and down several times from left to right and took many images and then extracted those images from a GoPro camera. Well, a Sony action camera. I have 3 drones, but the drone that I was going to use for the thermal infrared was busted, so I didn't know that. And so I had to use just this drone with the camera, but it does show us what we want to see. Now, if we zoom down here, you can see these are the cameras in Reality Capture. And the first thing you'll notice is that there's not a lot of cameras, and that's the key. If you go to look at the models, what happens is this program generates a model and a model and a model and a model and keeps trying to do the best it can, and then it shows you where this orange tick is, the model which have the most photos that were identified and aligned by their shared common points. You'll notice that out of 753 cams, or 753 photos, only 103 were aligned. Whereas if we go to PhotoScan and we look at the success here, you can see that out of 754 cameras, 725, almost all of them, were identified. That, to me, is actually stunning. However, there is no question about the time suck that this thing took. This program took almost, I don't know, about half a day in order to process all of the photos. But then it produced a very highly successful recapturing of the 3D image. Now let's turn off the cameras. I'm going to turn off the cameras because they block the views. And then I want to show you what the results of that is, the consequences of that is. If we zoom out, you can see that this construction here captured several trees. I was standing here and the drone went up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. You can see that if I turn on the cameras again, just to give you a sense of where they are. And you can see the drone went up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down, looked slightly left and slightly right each time it did so. And then produced and then managed to line up 754, well 725 or whatever of these images. And so that is what it reconstructed. Now, if we go here and take a look at the much more aesthetically appealing one, you'll see that it really only captured one drone ascent and one drone descent. I'm not sure which is which, and really did not capture any of or a lot of the vegetation. That's all it captured. The other thing is that if you spin it around, you'll see, for example, that because it only has one ascent and descent, it really has no idea what's behind these trees and we're getting a fairly hollow reconstruction, even though, as I said, it was done super fast, and produces these aesthetically relatively pleasing results. Whereas here you can see that if we wanted to look around, you can see that, let's zoom in, we can actually go a little bit around the tree. Now we'd actually have to go into the forest, but we don't have like the shadow, the empty shadow behind the tree like we do here, where there's nothing behind the tree. See this blank stripe here. So that to me is again an amazing result. We can actually reconstruct a fair amount of the 3D structure, which we have less accuracy down here. So that's why this is faster. There's no free lunch. And if you read the fora, there are many, many people who damn this program and say, one person said, you know, what's the point of getting someplace really fast if the place you get to is a place you don't want to be, which I think that's sort of true. I also contacted Reality Capture, and they said they do not do education or research and development grants or licensing arrangements, so we would have to pay the full freight, and also reminded me that if we create virtual machines, that the license will be based on the number of GPUs or graphics processing units that we have. And if we have too many, if we make a super machine, they'll want 2 licenses for that super machine. So they really are looking to get money from us. They do have a nice, about $1,000 a year license, limited to 2,500 pictures per machine. But Agisoft, actually, I'm in conversation with them, and they said if we are planning to run the machines only for a limited time and then the licenses will disappear, they may be able to give us a time-based license rather than perpetual licenses. And I think we're maybe looking at a couple $100 per license as opposed to $1,000 or $7,500 per license. So this may be the way to go. Now, I did find a way to actually get Agisoft to use graphic processing units, and it dramatically speeded things up. But because it actually is dealing with many, many more photos than this program is doing, and with millions more points than this program is doing, it's always going to run slower. It turned out there was actually a way to get it to access graphics cards, but for some reason it doesn't recognize the graphics cards on one of my machines at all. And in this machine, I had to go in and tell it where the graphics cards were, and then it finally recognized them and it started using them. And that meant rather than running, say, for a week, it ran in about half a day. However, there's still not the half an hour or so that this thing ran. On the other hand, this is what we want, and this is not what we want, which is really disappointing to me because I was looking forward to a speedy operation. All right, thanks everyone. Sorry for the long discourse here. Have fun in Alaska. I really wish I was going with you. Take care.